I've said that because I love putting events together that welcome the presence of God.
James Moen is an American singer, pianist, and songwriter specializing in Christian worship music. Often the subject of a lot of intrigue and speculation, it's quite difficult to parse through what's truly real about this particular celebrity. Married to his wife, Laura, for 51 years, there have been many rumors suggesting that this supposedly happy relationship may be on the verge of ending. But what happened? Is it truly so serious that Don Moen would just divorce his wife? Or is everything just baseless rumors? The situation has finally been revealed as the truth is spoken up about. Stick around to find out what we've been expecting all this time. You do not want to miss this. Why is Don Moen so famous? He became a living sound musician for Terry Law Ministries and traveled with Terry Law for 10 years. After, he worked for Integrity Media for over 20 years, serving as creative director and president of Integrity Music, president of Integrity Label Group, and an executive producer of Integrity Music albums. He left Integrity Media in December 2007 to start a new initiative, the Don Moen Company. The Don Moen Company acquired Media Complete, the church software company that created Media Shout. Moen became a radio host for Don Moen and Friends in 2009. Moen received a Dove Award for his work on the musical God With Us, in addition to 9 nominations for his songs. Moen also worked with Claire Cloninger, Paul Overstreet, Martin J. Nystrom, Randy Rothwell, Ron Canoli, Bob Fitz, Deb Grafsma, Paul Baloche, Tom Brooks, Aline Barros, among many others. He collaborated with musicians such as Justo Almerio, Carl Albrecht, Abraham Laboriel, Alex Acuna, Paul Jackson Jr., Lenny LeBlanc, and Chris Graham. He was a catalyst in launching the careers of Paul Baloche, Darlene Check, Israel Houghton, and Hillsong United. He produced 11 volumes for the Hosanna Music series of worship albums. His first album under his own name, Worship with Don Moen, was released in 1992. His music has total global sales of over 5 million units. Moen's first album for Hosanna Music, Give Thanks, became the label's bestseller. Produced by Tom Brooks, Give Thanks went on to be certified gold by the RIA. Moen followed this with a number of albums of his own, including 2 Spanish-language albums, En tu presencia and Trono de Gracia. God With Us won the Dove Award for Best Musical. On an Asian tour in 1999, he recorded The Mercy Seat at Singapore Indoor Stadium and Heal Our Land at Yeouido Park in South Korea, which was released in 2000. One of Moen's albums, I Will Sing, was recorded at Christian Broadcasting Network. God Will Make a Way, the best of Don Moen, was released in 2003 and features 19 greatest hits. The title song was written for his sister-in-law and her husband, whose oldest son died in an auto accident while their other 3 children survived but were seriously injured. Moen's Hiding Place became his first studio album, recorded at Paragon Studios in Franklin, Tennessee, and was released in the autumn of 2006. I Believe There's More was released in late 2008. His third studio recording, Uncharted Territory, was successfully funded through Kickstarter and released on March 27, 2012. His Christmas album, Christmas, A Season of Hope, was released on October 22, 2012, with some songs recorded in a studio in the Czech Republic. Moen released Hymn Book as a celebration of reaching over 1 million likes on his Facebook page. After years of silence, Don Moen finally talks about his side of the story. Don Moen talks about his story. When you get to be my age, you reminisce about your life and wonder how many more years the Lord will give you to make a difference. My journey with music began when I was 8 years old, the day the famous violinist Dave Rubinoff visited my 2nd grade classroom in the small Minnesota town where I grew up. Dave played the Hot Canary and made his violin do funny things. I went home that afternoon and told my mother and father I wanted to play the violin, all because this guy had made me laugh. We had no idea then how music would eventually become the central mission of my life. During my teen and early adult years, I made several attempts to run from music. But one night, I woke up at 3 a.m. with a very strong impression to read Psalm. It says, I have put a new song in your mouth, a song of praise to God. Many will see it in fear and put their trust in the Lord. That 3 a.m. wake-up call became a life-defining moment for me. I sat there, stunned and spiritually awakened, to the clear call on my life to lead people into praise and worship. In my 20s, I traveled with a Christian music band out of Oral Roberts University called Living Sound. In 1982, the wife of Living Sound's founder, Terry Law, was tragically killed in a car crash. Terry was devastated but eventually learned to find comfort and healing through praise and worship. As David said in Psalm, "I will bless the Lord at all times, his praise shall continually be in my mouth." Prior to Jan's death, which impacted all of Living Sound, our music was very evangelistic in nature. We played concerts around the world, leading people to Jesus. Through her death, the Lord taught us how to enter into his presence through praise and worship. When we made this shift, amazing new things began to happen in our meetings. Once, for example, I was leading worship at a church service and Terry Law preached. During worship, I was just singing away, and all of a sudden, I had a sense that God had walked into the room, but I didn't dare open my eyes. This incredible presence filled the room, and in those moments, I stopped playing. Everybody knew we were in the awesome presence of God. When I finally looked, everybody was either on their face or their knees. A 13-year-old girl who was deaf felt her ears open up in the middle of that meeting. Nobody prayed for her, and she could hear. Just as seasons change, my time leading praise and worship with Terry Law ended, and I went to work with Integrity Music based in Mobile, Alabama. We did many great things at Integrity over the 20 years I was there. We produced wonderful music, touched the world through praise and worship, and helped a lot of young musicians in their careers. Some of my favorite albums came out of my time with Integrity: God With Us, Give Thanks, God Will Make a Way, Thank You Lord, and many others. I still sing these songs in my concerts. They're like old friends. There came a point, though, in 2007 when my heart was quite unsettled about my career at Integrity. I felt the Lord wanted to move me into something different, but it scared me. Laura and I were happily settled in Mobile. We had 5 children, 3 in college, who depended on me. However, the whisper in me continued to grow and became so strong I knew if I didn't respond to it, I would be living in disobedience to God. Seasons change, as I had learned with Living Sound. If I didn't change when the Holy Spirit wanted me to change, I would have missed out on some of the best days God had ahead for me. I needed to pay more attention to what God had originally called me to be, a worship leader and songwriter. I needed to follow my heart, not my head. If you ask me what I want to do most with my life, my answer is to be a good husband and father to my family. I feel like the luckiest guy in the world to have been married to my best friend for 40 years, to be dad to 5 incredible kids, and now grandpa to the cutest little girl in the world. God has been good. Had you asked me 5 years ago, however, I would have said the same words, but in my alone times with the Lord, I wondered when he would make a way for me as I had sung for thousands of other hurting people through the years. You see, when I walked away from Integrity, the transition wasn't all a bed of roses. In fact, it was quite a struggle for me. My family relocated to Nashville, the music capital of America and an obvious choice for one in my industry. We went through many ups and downs, struggling to keep our heads above water. During that time, we produced a new album called I Believe There Is More. I sang those words to myself countless times to encourage myself to believe and to trust in the Lord. It feels as if life has come full circle for me since my days traveling with Living Sound. Laura and I went on our first overseas trip to South Africa with Living Sound when we were college students. I proposed to her in South Africa and have always carried a special place in my heart for the entire continent of Africa. In recent years, the Lord has opened doors for me to perform concerts in Africa, as well as in Asia and the Americas. We regularly pack large venues as believers in those lands join together in praise and worship. I have great joy in these later days of my life because I am living my purpose, calling, and dreams. Many people see me as an artist and songwriter, and I love to write songs and lead worship. But let me tell you why I do what I do. God has given me a large platform or a sphere of influence through my songs and worship leading. Those gifts have opened up many opportunities to bring hope to people who have lost hope. One of my greatest joys in life is being able to touch people with God's presence in practical and tangible ways, like providing food and shelter. Worship is more than the songs we sing. Don't get me wrong, I love leading worship and singing songs of praise, but it cannot stop there. Reaching out to a person in need can be the sweetest song of worship ever heard. Ghana is a place where I feel compelled to urge the church to do something to make a difference for others. Worship is so much more than a song. It is a lifestyle. Gifty, a little girl I met when visiting Royal Seed Home just outside Accra, Ghana, reminded me of this truth. In fact, Gifty was one of the main inspirations to move forward with worship and action. Her story is one of tragedy turned to hope because of Royal Seed Home. Concerts are wonderful. We depend on the presence of God and desire above all else to reside in His courts. Yet, I believe there is more for us to do. I believe if we are willing, we can have a big part to play in bringing hope to a hurting world. I believe we are called to put our worship into action. What about the rumors talking about his separation from his wife? What's their relationship like? Don Moen and his wife Laura's story. Renowned American gospel singer, James Moen, known as Don Moen, has revealed he and his wife Laura got married in the presence of 1,000 strangers. Don Moen stated this on Friday while celebrating his then 49th wedding anniversary with Laura. The gospel singer noted he has been blessed since he got married. Widely renowned worship leader Don Moen and his beloved wife, Laura, are joyously commemorating their remarkable 51 years of marital bliss. Their extraordinary journey began in 1973 when they exchanged vows in the picturesque city of Minneapolis, Minnesota, United States. Since then, the couple has epitomized unwavering commitment, steadily nurturing their relationship with love, resilience, and profound wisdom. In honor of this significant milestone, Don Moen took to social media to express his heartfelt sentiments, sharing a captivating artwork that featured 2 poignant photographs. One captured the radiant couple on their wedding day, radiating with hope and anticipation, while the other portrayed a recent snapshot of Don and Laura, a testament to their enduring love. Accompanying the image, Moen shared his adoration with the world, captioning on Instagram, "She's still my girl, after all these years. Happy 51st anniversary, Laura. We celebrated tonight at our favorite restaurant, Fisher's at Orange Beach." This monumental occasion follows on the heels of another milestone in Moen's illustrious career. In March 2024, the music icon unveiled his latest project, Worship Today with Don Moen, a resplendent 10-track album that showcases his soul-stirring interpretations of some of the most cherished praise and worship songs of our time. From the awe-inspiring rendition of 10,000 Reasons, Bless the Lord, to the mesmerizing melody of What a Beautiful Name, Don Moen's musical prowess continues to captivate audiences worldwide. The album also includes his moving performances of beloved hymns such as In Christ Alone and the timeless anthem How Great Is Our God. Don Moen and Laura's enduring love story is an inspiration to countless individuals around the globe, serving as a beacon of hope and a testament to the power of love, faith, and dedication. As they celebrate their golden jubilee, their unwavering bond continues to illuminate the path for others, reminding us all that true love is an everlasting treasure. But every marriage has its own set of issues, and Don Moen opens up about his. Don Moen opens up about marriage issues. American gospel singer, producer, and writer Don Moen is in town. The legendary praise and worship singer performed at Sidom today, which marks the second time the singer is in the country. In 2 separate interviews, the singer opened up to Kenyans on different aspects, including his love life and rumors that have been circulating online recently. Below is an interview he did with Nation's Lilies Njiru. You are a worship leader, songwriter, a producer, and a family man. How would you describe yourself? I will start by saying that I am a husband of 1 wife. Some rumors were being spread on the internet that I had divorced Laura Lee Moen, my wife of 51 years. Others said that I was dead. I'm alive and happily married. I want to be remembered as a great husband, father to my 5 children, and great-grandfather to my 2 grandkids. So that's how I would describe myself. Being a songwriter is low on the priority list, but then I also want to be remembered as a good steward of what God has given me. In your maiden visit to Kenya in 2015, you mentioned that you were not set out to do music, that your parents forced you to take piano lessons. What were your childhood ambitions? Would you believe that as a child, all I wanted was to hunt and fish? When I graduated from high school, I wanted to fly a fighter jet, but I wore glasses, and in those days, I couldn't get into flight schools. I had a backup plan, though, to work in the Forest Service as a forest ranger. Music was never in the picture. However, I was talented and won many awards as a violinist. I ended up getting a full scholarship to play in an orchestra, and in that process, I got my hands on other instruments, such as the guitar. Eventually, I joined a Christian group of musicians called Living Sounds. That's how I launched into what has become my occupation. How do you juggle between ministry and your role as a family man? I have priorities: God, family, and ministry in that order. Some people concentrate too much on their ministries and occupations that they hardly have time for their families. Tell me, what's the success in that? Your first album, Give Thanks, was released in 1987, and 30 years later, you are still an icon in the gospel industry. What has enabled you to remain relevant all these years? As a songwriter, I enjoy excellence in music. I live in Nashville, Tennessee, where some people's occupation is to write songs every day. I don't intend to do that. I try to write songs that will touch people beyond their intellect and emotions. I have also managed to surround myself with good musicians and producers who are quick to tell me when something is not good. Being grounded and rooted with a great family, church, and support system has played a key role in my longevity. God Will Make a Way is an anthem in many churches and a song that most listen to in hopeless situations. What is the inspiration behind the song? I got a midnight call that we all dread, saying that my sister-in-law and her husband had just lost a son through a grisly accident and their 3 children had been seriously injured. As I was aboard a plane going to comfort them, I kept wondering what to say, and I prayed that God would fill my heart with words of encouragement. Through that prayer, the song came to life. I'm amazed that the song has gone ahead of me to so many countries that I have never been to. Over the years, your collection of praise and worship songs has received many awards and accolades. Have you ever thought of writing songs in another genre, say, Christian love songs? I have written many Christian love songs in other genres that I sing to my wife, Laura, and my grandchildren. However, I had never thought of releasing an official love song to the world. That's a good idea. However, I don't know if I would manage to get through just one song without crying each time I think of Laura's unconditional love and tremendous support throughout these years. What sort of changes do you wish to see in the gospel industry? I don't know much about the gospel music industry in Kenya, but in the USA, it is completely different than it was 20 years ago. The distribution system is different, and the whole music industry has been turned upside down. In a good way, it is forcing people to write better songs. My heart's desire is that Christian songwriters would write songs that revere God and attract people to their Maker. Let God be represented in the lyrics, and analyze what you are writing about. It's not all about good beats and good grooves. Leading a life that is rooted in God is essential. I would challenge music writers and producers to go deeper and release songs that make it worthwhile when listening, songs that touch the spirit. Should we expect something from you in the near future? Definitely. I'm working on a new project, Songs and Blessings from a Father's Heart. From my interactions with people, I came to learn that there are many parents who put their kids to bed while listening to Don Moen songs. This new project will be a blessing. Can you dance? Honestly, I'm a horrible dancer. I grew up in a society that believed that when people dance, they do bad things, and when they do bad things, they are doomed for hell. If you'd asked about my children, they are great dancers. Don Moen takes it upon himself to further clarify the rumors surrounding his supposed divorce from his wife. Don Moen clarifies divorce rumors. Don Moen, the father of worship music, has been the target of fake news again. The latest news floating around social media is that the singer and songwriter has divorced his wife. Moen made it very clear that he was in a very stable and committed marriage with his wife, Laura, who had been his pillar all through the years since he started out in music. How often have social media users killed celebrities and even sent shock among fans? Well, it happens quite often, and Don Moen recently admitted that it happened to him at some point when malicious blogs started the rumors. Don Moen, a global praise and worship icon, was hit by fake news as reports of his death went viral via the internet. A website, disguised to appear as a legitimate news source from Houston, Texas, reported the death of the internationally beloved Moen and caused his fans to launch an avalanche of mourning via social media, trending on Twitter, Google, and more. The news spread so rapidly that Snopes.com, a website that fact-checks online stories, felt it necessary to debunk the report. Click here to read that story. Don Moen states, friends from all over the world began contacting me this week to make sure I was all right. It has been humbling to receive such an outpouring of concern and prayers for me and my family. However, I want everyone to know that I am alive and well. God still has a plan for me and for each of us, and He is still making a way where there seems to be no way. I love you. God bless you. I'd like to clarify that I am not dead, as some people on the internet had made it seem. Moen started out during his press conference in the quest to dispel the rumors. I also read it some time back, but it was quite a relief that people had good things to say about me, the star added on a light note. In regard to rumors about having divorced his wife, the American singer and songwriter also made it very clear that he was in a very stable and committed marriage with his wife, Laura, who had been his pillar all through the years since he started out in music. I love my wife Laura, and I always want to be a good husband and a good dad to our children. The most important thing for me is to serve my family, Moen added, affirming that he was very intentional with what he posts on social media. He also warned that people should be wary of parody accounts that are started under his name. We report at least 30 fake Don Moen accounts every week, so I wish to encourage people to be on the lookout for our correct social media accounts. Of course, with fame comes troubles like this. But what has Don Moen been doing now? What is Don Moen doing now? Don Moen is an American singer and songwriter, pastor, and music producer who has a net worth of $30 million. Don Moen was born in Minneapolis, Minnesota, in June 1950. He studied at Oral Roberts University and traveled with Terry Law Ministries as a living sound musician for 10 years. Moen produced 11 volumes of Hosanna music series. He has released several albums, starting with Worship with Don Moen in 1992, and has sold more than 5 million albums worldwide during his career. He worked for Integrity Media as the creative director and president of Integrity Music, president of Integrity Label Group, and executive producer of Integrity Music Albums. He formed the Don Moen Company in 2007, which acquired church software company Media Complete. In 2009, he became a radio host for Don Moen and Friends. He is also a songwriter for several artists and helped launch many careers, including Hillsong United. Moen has won 6 Dove Awards. Don Moen, an iconic voice in Christian music and a pioneer in the modern praise and worship movement, has been honored with a very special award highlighting his international influence. During the 50th anniversary gala, Oral Roberts University honored Moen with the Lifetime Global Achievement Award, celebrating Don's outstanding excellence and vast impact. The award was presented to Moen by ORU President William M. Wilson. Don is one of the most gifted worship ministers of our generation, said ORU President William M. Wilson. His ability to bring an audience with him into God's presence is astounding. Don has journeyed to the uttermost bounds of the earth with the music of our King in a variety of ways. His integrity, passion, and character speak volumes. All of this makes Don a very worthy recipient of ORU's Lifetime Global Achievement Award. It is an incredible honor to receive this award, and I am humbled to be included in the group of distinguished recipients, said Moen. ORU has played a significant role in the direction of my life. It's where I met my wife Laura, and it's where I met Terry Law and joined Living Sound, starting my lifelong career in music ministry. I'm excited to see what the next 50 years hold in store for ORU and the lives of the students they are impacting. Ask Don Moen what he does, and the answer might surprise you. He won't say he's a songwriter, even though he's written more than 100 songs. He won't say he's a worship leader, even though he's led worship on every continent but Antarctica and recorded numerous albums. He won't say he's a businessman or producer, even though he has produced and directed hundreds of successful projects. If you ask Don Moen why God put him on this planet, he'll tell you, to be an architect who designs products and events that help people experience God's presence in a new and fresh way. And in more than 3 decades of ministry, he's had lots of opportunities to fulfill that purpose. His discography reflects his passion for creating resources for the church that lead people into an honest and intimate relationship with the Lord. In 2002, his peers recognized that lifelong commitment and presented him with the Ray DeVries Church Ministry Award. Don has also received a Dove Award for his work on the musical God With Us and has received multiple Dove Award nominations for his songs, CDs, and choral resources. In addition to his writing and recording, Don makes time to tour domestically and abroad and has performed with artists such as Chris Tomlin, Twyla Paris, Sarah Groves, and Paul Baloche, to name a few. He has also served as a worship leader for past National Day of Prayer events and as a music industry spokesperson, having been featured on Fox News, NPR, and in USA Today. Don is as popular overseas as he is at home in the U.S. His travels for concerts and seminars have taken him to Ghana, South Africa, Singapore, the Philippines, South Korea, Brazil, Canada, Australia, Great Britain, Hong Kong, Malaysia, Indonesia, Japan, Guatemala, Honduras, and elsewhere. Today, Don is president of Don Moen Productions in Nashville, Tennessee, where he resides with his wife Laura and 5 children. What do you think about all the rumors Don Moen has been swarmed in? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more insider content like this.